Hey everybody, this is Jimmy Lawson. He is a man of many things. He is a activist, a friend, a father, a coach, a professor. I mean, you do it all, man. So I know you hoop, so I got to ask you a hooping question. So the first question I ask everybody is hardest person you ever had to play against.
So I would say two of them, man. So first one was Allen Iverson. On the ball was the quickest dude I ever played against. His quickness, his skill level, his IQ was unreal. I've guarded a couple quick cats in my career, man, and AI was by far the fastest. I played against some guys who was faster than him without the ball, with ball in his hands.
Oh my
Man,
God.
jet quick, man.
You
Jet
played
quick.
against Allen
Couldn't stay in front of him.
at Georgetown?
Uh,
At Georgetown, you played against Allen Iverson?
Yeah. So when I was at Grambling, we played Georgetown. He came through, man, on the practice side, and he just left Georgetown, but he brought a crew. He brought a crew of people with him, man. So we weren't supposed to do. I was like, I'm never going to have a chance to do this. So we went to the practice gym, man. He brought a couple cats from the league with him, and we played for about an hour and a half. Hey, man, super duper quick, man. Super
That's
duper quick.
crazy.
The number two toughest dude I played against was Kevin Garnett. We played Kevin Garnett in 95, 94, 95 in Las Vegas. And they had a team called the Illinois Warriors, and they all from Chicago. And we played them in like the Elite Eight in the AAU tournament, man. And he comes out, right? He's like 7 foot. So he's like, we got the name on our jerseys called Rams, Oklahoma Rams, right? And so all we got is Rams on it. And he's like, yo, where y'all from? And we was like, man, we're from Oklahoma. We hyped. He's like, we're from Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I don't know nothing about Oklahoma except Cowboys and Indians. And he said, hey, I'm going to give y'all buckets tonight. Hey, man, KG, I kid you not, Kevin. KG had 23 blocks, bro.
He got you too, huh? You going there?
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Float that thing up, gone.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, that's crazy. You played against AI
was,
and Kevin Garnett. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Matter of fact, Kobe Bryant was at the tournament. He turned his ankle the day before. So if we would have won and Kobe would have played, we would have played Kobe's team. That would have been cool too.
Yeah, that'd have been.
But he was there, man.
Right.
Yeah, he was there. He was a pretty cool dude.
Who are some guys on your team in the AAU tournament?
We had a couple cats, man. Joe Atkins went to OSU. Estelle Laster went to OSU. Reggie Tate, he went to ORU. Myself, I went to Grambling. Then we had two dudes from Tulsa that played in the NBA. One was Eton Thomas. He played in the NBA. Yeah, and then Ron Humphrey played at OU and Notre Dame, and then played in the NBA too. So we had a squad, bro. We had a squad. Yeah, and it was kind of nip and tuck with the Chicago cats, man. But I'll tell you what, man, coming from OKC compared to them big cities like Chicago, Houston, LA, hey man, it's a different brand of basketball, man.
Yeah, it's way different. Way different.
Hey, the dudes bigger, they stronger. They look like they 20, 25. Man, we all 14, 15, 16,
They really
bro.
do. They really do, man. He was not playing. He was not playing.
They come up with the beards like mine. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, man. You ain't 16.
That's what I'm saying. When I went to LA and Vegas, and so when I played, I was like, Jesus, like these dudes cannot be 17. You know what I mean? Like that, it's wild. I'm like, man, I was like, I gotta get some Miracle Girls. So I can't do it.
Hey, who was the toughest dude that you ever guarded?
Man, it was a dude it was at the NAIA school in Kansas. He was the NAIA Player of the Year. He's playing on the main Germany team now. His name was Cameron Hunt. He's like 6'5", light-skinned dude. I took my visit up there, and the coach, he's like, hey, you're gonna have to guard Cam. We're gonna see how you match up against him. And so, I'm high school. I'm like, man, it's whatever, cool. And it was bad. I couldn't do nothing. Like he was left hand, so I was trying to force him right. He went right, tried to back off. He was hitting threes. It was just a mess. But it made me feel better though, because I think he ended up averaging like 31 and 7, and now he's on the main Germany team. So it made, So it made me feel a little better that I just didn't get, just killed by him. But yeah, for sure it was him, for sure, for sure. So I know. So you went to John Marshall, and so how was your high school experience at John Marshall?
You know, it was good, man. You know, John Marshall back then in the 90s, you know, I came through in the mid 90s. And back then, man, it was 99% African American. And so we were used to an environment where a lot of kids had single parent homes, raised by grandmas, raised by their mamas. Me and Julius was highly blessed and fortunate. We were one of the two, probably maybe the only two I can think of that had both mom and dads in our life. But more importantly, Kevin, we had fathers who were all the way plugged in. My father in particular, man, was probably the most amazing dude across the board, man. As I got older, I figured out how special he really was. He was that type of dude that he looked at me when I was 12. I played football. I did karate. My pops was a Marine martial art dude, right? So I hated martial arts.
Right.
And he was like, well, what you want to do, son? I was like, man, I want to hoop, man. Let's go hoop. He was like, all right. So we signed up at the Northside Y. He coached. He didn't know nothing about basketball. And he saw me play the first time, man, and I had a natural gift. When we talk about great shooters like Steph Curry, Clay, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, right? My gift was just like that, man. I could naturally shoot the basketball. Lady State of Oklahoma, my senior year, I shot 61% from the three-point line. I could fill it up. That was my gift.
Right.
I knew at a very young age I had that gift, right? So my pops said to me, son, do you want to be the greatest shooter in Oklahoma City history? And I looked at him like, how are we going to do that? He's like, it's the easy formula, and it's called work. And, man, what he did was he developed this plan. We shot 500 shots a day, right? 300 jump shots, 200 threes, 100 free throws, and I had to hit 50% of all my shots, right? So we'll be in there for 3, 4, 5 hours trying to get through it. But I'll tell you what he did. By the time I got to my sophomore year in high school, bro, I never missed in practice. I barely even missed in games. It was unbelievable to watch what pure work could do when you interject your gift, man. So my father gave me that recipe, if you will, about, do you have skill and talent? And if you do, we're going to help you maximize that skill and talent, man. So that's what he did for me. And it was the greatest gift for me, Kevin, because I took that same work ethic at a high school in basketball and applied it to all the other areas of my life as I became a young man, right? And started having a family and other stuff, man. So I give credit, all credit, man, to my father, man, who's passed away now. That he gave me I call it the secret sauce, bro. He gave me the secret sauce.
So how was your recruiting process at Grambling? And for everybody that will watch just getting recruited by a big division or a Division I school.
Yeah, I would say this, man. I'm kind of on both sides of the fence. So I wasn't heavily recruited. I had a couple of small D1s here and there, a lot of JUCOs. Grambling came late into the game for me. We were in Dallas at a showcase tournament that August, right before my senior year. Showed out, man. I had an amazing tournament. They were there, started recruiting me a little bit. And I didn't know anything about HBCUs, bro. Honestly, I knew who they were. I kind of knew the vibe. They had a bomb band. That's all I knew. That's all I knew about them. Grambling with the bomb band, man. And so we took some visits, went there, loved the vibe, was kind of smaller. Administration was all black, students were black, professors black. I was like, man, this is cool at the college level. Looks just like John Marshall. I was like, I can do this. It'd be pretty dope. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to be part of this all black, if you will, experience, at the collegiate level, man. So they flew me out, did some parties, this and that, da. So I was like, you know what? Man, I'm gonna go ahead and sign with them, since that's like the real one that was really after me at the time. So that's what happened. I signed with them. And then for those who are watching, I would say this, man, don't discount right JUCOs, because looking back in my career, I was skinny, I was small. I'm a decent sized dude now, but 25 years ago I was itty bitty.
Right.
Not the tallest. I'm 6'2". So at that time they were looking for 6'4", 6'5" shooting guards. I played shooting guard, so they were apprehensive about, can you guard a two guard? Because most of the two guards are 6'5", right? You're 6'2". However, there was a lot of amazing JUCOs after me. So I'll pass on to the next generation. Hey, don't discount JUCO, because JUCO is an amazing way to get your body right, get used to college, get used to class, and then you may end up going to a bigger Division I. Looking back at my career, if I went JUCO, there's no doubt in my mind that I could have ended up at a UCLA, a Kansas, North Carolina, right? Because I did fill out. I matured a little later, which a lot of our kids from Oklahoma was like that. We were about a year or two behind on maturity for whatever reason. So by the time I got 19, 20, man, hey, I was the real deal. But I thought, man, maybe I should have went JUCO, for 2 years and then ended up at a bigger Division I. But all in all, hey man, Grambling was an amazing experience.
And I know you went to OC, Oklahoma City University. So how was that, and what made you transfer out to go there?
Yeah, so my freshman year at Grambling, the coach gets fired. They brought in a dude that never coached before. I was spoiled coming from John Marshall. We lost 4 games in 4 years, man. So we had a huge winning tradition. I got to Grambling and got smacked, right? So all these losses. Yeah. I'm like, man, I used to losing. So what I did was I actually got recruited by St. Louis. We played St. Louis that season. I had a great game. Reached out to the coach, man. He was all about it. There was Coach Spooner at the time. He was just getting he was just about to retire, and Cameron Dollar, who played at UCLA, was about to be the head coach. And when Cameron Dollar took the head position that summer, he decommitted everybody who he wanted to come in, which I was one of them. I was on the brink of coming in. So I was like, dang, what am I going to do now? So Win Case, who was the head coach at OCU back at the time, recruited me out of high school. So I was like, I called him up. He's like, come on, man, you got a spot. So that's kind of ended up at OCU. However, what really was a shocker to me at OCU was the culture and the demographics of OCU. So OCU is 99%, 99% white, right? So all of my classrooms were 99% white students. I was always the only black student in the class. That was different for me because I came from an all-black high school to an HBCU. Now I become the minority in the class, right? So it was a different vibe, and I love to be transparent because this is what this conversation is all about, man, is exposing things in our culture and our economy, man, that is relevant in reality. In reality, in Oklahoma, is that, you've got this division between whites and blacks, particularly at the university levels like OCU, OU, that are predominantly white. So coming in as an African-American male and an athlete, sitting in class, man, I was very uncomfortable. Because I wasn't used to it, A. And then the professors were always ask me questions, right? So I felt like they were picking on me, like, you're picking on the black guy in class. However, it was an amazing experience. It allowed me to be comfortable in a different environment. And by the time I left OCU, man, I really locked into the idea of this is what reality looks like. And this is what the job market is going to look like when we get there. So it was a good experience.
So I know you're a professor. So what made you want to be a professor? Was it somebody at OCU who said something, or at Grambling, or how did that all kind of come about? Because I know you got your master's too. So congrats. That's awesome. So how did the professor job start happening?
Yeah, man. So, I had no passion, no desire whatsoever to be a college professor. None, zero whatsoever, man. So I was working in finance and accounting, and a guy who coached my oldest daughter actually was a professor at University of Phoenix at the time. My oldest daughter now is 21. So when she was about 8 or 9, she played soccer. And the guy who helped me, man, used to leave one night a week and go teach. And I was like, man, how's that work? He's like, man, it's cool. It's one night a week. It's a 4-hour class. He was like, the pay's amazing. He told me his pay stuff. I was like, wow, you making this part-time? He's like, yeah, man, you got to get on board, right? He's like, you'll be perfect. You got your master's, man. You got an amazing personality. And this is what he said to me that kind of resonated to me a little bit. He says, well, at the post-secondary level, we don't have any black professors at the university. I thought, He says, one thing the administration is wanting to do is diversify. I thought, okay. So I go down, bro. And again, I had no intentions. I just went down because he invited me, not because I wanted to be there. And so I go down, and the dean and assistant dean has a quick meeting with me. They asked me a problem about finance. They said, hey, can you work this problem on the board? I'm like, yeah, that's easy. You know, I'm a numbers guy, man. I'm a data dude, so it's easy for me. So I get on the board. I start telling this story about this problem, man. This particular problem actually was a problem that I had in grad school. So I had this amazing story about it. And I'm telling this story, writing it down. Everybody's laughing. I got them plugged in. And they're like, that's it. Stop, Mr. Lawson, stop. I'm like, what's up? They're like, can you start next week? I'm like, start what? Can you start teaching next week? I'm like, wow. We're going to offer you a position to teach this corporate finance and accounting class. I thought, I don't know. I called my pops, man. My pops, about 6 months before this happened, my pops said to me, son, I'm going to stop calling you son, and I'm going to start calling you professor. This is a real story, man. I'm not making it up. I would call him, yo, what's up, pops? He would say, what's up, professor? How you doing? I was like, man, why you keep calling me professor? He's like, don't worry about it. You'll see. A true story, man. 6 months. He called me professor for 6 months. When I got the job, I called him and say, yo, I got this new side gig. This is what it pays. I said, man, you won't believe what type of job this is. And he says to me, it's a professor job, isn't it? Man, I was like, how did you know? He's like, man, God already told me you're where you're going and your vision. I knew that being a professor was the perfect place for you to be, son, to take you and your career to the next level. So I'm gonna tell you what it did for me, Kevin. Man, I get in as a professor, man, and the first class was corporate finance, and it was a very diversified classroom. It was amazing, all walks of life. And what I found out was that these kids had all the same problems that every other kid across America had, right? Family problems, divorce problems, money problems, right? Blah, 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 blah. So I found myself really mentoring and tutoring these young people, man, about life and money and how we can connect all these two together. And man, it turned into an amazing environment for me, man, was allow my speaking skills and my skill level, right, really to fruition itself and maximize myself in this cohort, if you will, man. So the professor job, man, was a blessing in disguise. Yeah, it was cool money, but yet, man, it really tapped into kids, you know, like yourself, Kevin, that I look just like you, right? I'm from the same neighborhoods as you, right? We play ball, we both hoopers. Right. So to see somebody that looked just like me on the other side of that desk, man, as a professor was powerful for this city because a lot of the kids had never seen it, including myself. Until I went to Grambling and came back to OCU, I never really saw any Black professors. So what it provided for me, Kevin, was a dynamic, man, to be able to pour into the next generation. And then more importantly, change the way our system and public views Black men.
Mm-hmm. Right, because that is so important, because there still is the negative stereotype towards young black men still, like to this day. And you know, you can be the most positive and everything, but if you look a certain way, people just feel so uncomfortable. And that's you know what I'm trying to change the individual, obviously what you do and other people, like, and I feel it's coming, you know what I mean? And that's what I really love about this generation, because we speak out a lot more about issues.
Yeah,
like we are not scared about about speaking our minds. And I just want to continue to tell people, like, keep fighting and keep using y'all's words and y'all's voices and platforms, something like this, to like keep educating people, because that's what's gonna happen, is that's what needs to happen, is the education behind it. So
absolutely,
that's my little TED talk. So I'm gonna get back to letting you speak. So so let's backtrack a little bit. So obviously Julius is your best friend, you know what I mean, lifelong friend. So how was he in high school, you know, just growing up with him, and then obviously the media outpour and the support that he has, and how has all that been for you, and just seeing him, you know, thank God he's still alive. So how is everything? I got the shirt on now. So how has everything been full circle for you?
J for J.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we'll go back to high school, man. We met in 6th grade, man. Their parents moved 4 houses down from my house. His dad and my dad became good friends, so we naturally became good friends. And then we just grew together at the high school. I always say this, man. Julius is one of the smartest dudes, man, I've ever met coming out of Oklahoma City. We both had 4-point GPAs coming out of high school, but his ACT was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the dude scored like a 30 on his ACT, bro. He's like a genius. That's and he chose to go the academic route, right? So we had basketball opportunities. He chose to go to OU in a full academic scholarship, which never happened before for a kid out of John Marshall. And then B, he was the first African-American male to get a President's All Academic Scholarship to OU. And then on top of that, he was an engineering major, which was unreal. We were like, man, hey, we didn't major in engineering.
Right. Right.
So he broke a lot of molds about what a young black man is and can be. So we go to college, man. We separate. He's at OU, I'm at Grambling. We reconnected in '99. We had a dude that we played high school ball with by the name of Christopher Jordan, called him West Side. That was a teammate of ours. I noticed when we came back in the summer of '99 that Julius and West Side was hanging together a little bit. I posed the question to Julius, like, yo, bro, those type of cats is not who we hang around, man. That's not what we do. We ballers, we hoopers, man. We don't hang with dudes that quote unquote want to be gang members and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's not what we did, bro. So that was kind of weird. 2 or 3 conversations about that. Julius took it as, hey, man, we're just playing ball. We're just hanging. Ain't nothing serious, blah, blah, blah. Of course, in July '99, Mr. Paul Howell gets murdered in Edmond. And West Side really was the perpetrator behind all of this horrific nightmare, if you will, man. That's how Julius got swooped into this case because of West Side. The state of Oklahoma is telling him, well, we're going to give you the death penalty. West Side was like, whoa. Okay, well, I was driving, Julius shot him. And the prosecutor's like, Julius Jones, well, who was that? Right, so they had no evidence, no DNA, can't put him in the scene. Nothing that tied Julius to the scene, right? But the state of Oklahoma, man, is just like any other state when it comes to how they prosecute crimes. The first one to snitch gets the best deal. In case of West Side, that's what happened. In the trial, though, Kevin, was very, very enlightening. I never had any interaction with the criminal justice system. Neither has Julius. So I'm sitting in trial, man, watching this process takes place that was very unequitable, right? You have an all-white jury. You got the white judge, white prosecutors. Everybody on that side of the fence did not look like me, which was like an alarm, like, wait a minute, this doesn't look right? Just from a people standpoint, if you have a judge of the people or a jury of the people, I think the jury should have some type of people that look like all people.
Right.
Right? Blacks, whites, Hispanics, Indians, tall, dark, doesn't matter. It should be a group of people. However, the way Oklahoma County structured that, it was all one type of people. And that drew me to be kind of curious about something doesn't look right to me, right? So as we got along in the case, man, it became very evident that this system was very one-sided when it comes to we got to get a conviction by any means necessary, even if it is the wrong person. So in Julius' standpoint, that's what happened. We get convicted to give him the death penalty. Everything that you could think about that went wrong, right? The original attorney died. We had a public defender who's never tried a case before. He didn't call any evidence. He didn't call any witnesses, didn't call Julius. So the perfect storm happened from a defense standpoint, man, which was bad for Julius. So that takes place, gets convicted. We go through the 3 appeal process. I'm going to roll up to 2015. We get to 2015. We're exhausted all 3 appeals for the state of Oklahoma. We got denied on the Supreme Court side for a particular item for original trial was denied. So now we're at the road end, like, what do we do now? Is the state going to issue a date to kill him? So in 2015, a guy named Clayton Lockett was executed, and it was botched, which means that the drugs get in and he's foaming at the mouth and he did not die. That was important because of that, Julius Jones and a guy named Richard Glosser was next on the list to get killed. A lot of people didn't know that. We were that close 6 years ago, right, of him dying. They put a stop to it, a moratorium to all executions, which saved Julius's life. And then, Kevin, the miracle happened. So up until 2017, man, we were really in a position where we had no resources. We had no connectivity. We were exhausted from all of our legal appeals with the state of Oklahoma. So, man, we were in a dire situation. Julius's mentality was, man, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to commit suicide. I'm ready to take my life. I can't do this anymore. I've been in jail for 19 years, and I can't take it no more. So, man, the conversations I would have with him to talk him off the ledge and keep him motivated. See, people don't know what it takes behind the curtain, man, about when you truly have somebody who's wrongfully convicted, and as smart as he is, right, to keep that person plugged in and motivated about life. Imagine you, Kevin, being in a cell, an 8x8 cell, 23 hours per day, only 1 hour out per day for 19 years straight, bro. Right? Imagine what that would do for you mentally and physically. He hasn't seen the sun up until that point. He didn't see the sun for like 6 months. He chose not to go outside because it took too long to shackle him up, to take him outside, unshackle him, play a little basketball, shackle him back up and take him in. He was like, man, I'm so exhausted from them shackling me up and unshackling. I don't even go outside. So up until 2018, 2017, man, he didn't see the sun for 6 months. And then the miracle happens where I get a call from a guy from New York City. I don't know him. He works for ABC, works for Viola Davis. I'm going to tell you how this last defense came about. And he says, hey, man, we're focusing on death row cases across America. We got a stack of cases. Julius Jones is one of these in the stack. We're going to go over it, let the board of directors choose 2 cases nationwide. Give us about 6 months. We'll give you a call back. 6 months later, Kevin, guy calls me like, hey, man, what you doing next Friday, right? He's like, what you doing next Tuesday? I'm like, just working. He's like, dude, cancel out your whole day. Hey, we coming to your house, man. We're going to start shooting. I'm like, wait a minute. Shoot what? He's like, congratulations, man. We're going to shoot a 3-hour documentary on Julius Jones' story. We're going to come to your house. You're the best friend. You're going to tell the story about who the real Julius is. I'm like, wow. Wow, we about to be on national TV, man. This is crazy. So we shot it. They go to the Jones house. They took about 4 or 5 minutes to shoot it all. And it aired on July of 2018, man. The last defense, Julius Jones story. That's what kicked off. That's what kicked off the national exposure campaign of this case, man. It was the show. It gave me and the family an opportunity to tell the side of the story that never been told before. So what it did for me, man, was allow some eyeballs in Oklahoma City, man, about what's been going on here in the system, criminal justice wise, right? That's never been exposed before. So it blew up. About 6 months later, man, I get a call from an agent dude that's connected to Kim Kardashian. I'm like, what? Kim K? Let's go, right? So she flies in, man. I got pictures with Kim K, super cool, all the way down, man. She took her platform. So shout out to Kim K, man. Thank you for diving on board. She took her platform, man, and took it to a whole different level, right? That's how we got all the Hollywood people involved. Some of the other stars and athletes, man, was because of her network and her belief. More importantly, her belief in Julius Jones' innocence, man. So when she came here, she met with Julius first, went to go see him, met with me and the Jones family, man, was awesome. Super cool, down to earth. You would never know that she's an A-list type star, man, very humble. And I appreciate her, man, taking her time and efforts to dive in for my best friend. So that's how the last offense jumped off, and it just grew and grew and grew, right? So as we got along between 2018, and 2019, we figured out we had one available option to try to bring Julius home. That's called the commutation route. So in October 2019, we filed the first paperwork for commutation. As you know, March of 2020 was the phase 1 of commutation. We passed that, which was historical. Nobody's ever done that before in the state of Oklahoma. And then it passed a little time. And then we were trying to have it in June 2021, the second phase. That didn't happen. D.A. Prater and A.G. Mike Hunter was doing all they could to try to stop the process, man. And that was mind-boggling because legally you weren't supposed to do that, but they were doing everything they could, man, filing injunctions and filing lawsuits and doing all kind of crazy stuff, right? So we finally got past that. So this past September of 2021, man, was phase 2 of the commutation, and we passed that, which was the recommendation to take Julius' sentence and commute it to life with parole in time served. So I was excited. I saw the video that day, man. I was all hyped. I was like, let's go. My boy's coming home. Let's go. Right? So I'm pumped and excited, man, because I'm thinking that, hey, we did exactly what the state of Oklahoma wanted us to do. We went through the commutation process, passed both phases successfully. The Pardon and Parole Board, who is appointed by Governor Stitt, passed what we needed. So I'm thinking, hey, man, we got a couple of months. He be home by Christmas, man. Let's go. So October the 1st, it changed again, right? The new AG, O'Connor, start doing some very creative things, man. Starts filing lawsuits against the board members, start trying to stop the process for approval of a commutation, which caused Governor Stitt to say nothing and say, well, I don't want to make a decision right now. Let's go to clemency. So the fancy word for clemency, Kevin, is 21 days before an executed date, the individual gets one last chance before the pardon and parole board to exhume their innocence. So that's called clemency. That was on November the 1st. So we did that. Guess what? The pardon and parole board votes again.
I listened on Zoom.
Right, in Julius's favor. Yeah, so I'm like, in the parking lot, I'm like, let's go. We did it again. We did it again. A couple of weeks or a month. Hey, man, we should be celebrating. However, between November the 1st, right, and November the 15th, you know, something for me and the family happened that I never saw coming, right? I never saw our governor being silent and not saying nothing. I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming. From a leadership standpoint for a state or a city, I would expect that a mayor or governor would be the ones to be communicative and upfront and transparent about what's going on their desk. However, Governor Stitt was the exact opposite, right? He didn't contain to it. He didn't say anything. He didn't entertain it. He didn't provide communication. So we were like, wait a minute. Is this dude not going to say nothing and kill Julius? Right. So, man, those 15 days, Kevin, was like, I've never had that much stress in my life, man.
Right.
You know, managing a second family. I got my own family, managing that, managing the emotions of Mama Jones and Antoinette, right? And Papa Jones. So all this responsibility, man, on my shoulders were very, very heavy, man. And we get up to November the 17th, right, the day before. Woo! So the way they do it is they give you a last meal at 6 p.m. on November the 17th, cut his phone off at 9 p.m. that evening. So he calls me like at 8:45, bro. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this is the last time I'm talking to my best friend?
Right.
Yeah, like real spill, man. Like, they about to kill my dude the next day because Governor Stitt ain't said nothing. Right. So, man, to have that conversation, Kevin, with my family and my kids on the phone and listen to him, and he's giving his last goodbyes, man, to all his nieces and my wife, me, man, such a surreal moment of on the brink of losing a life, man, particularly a life that you've been connected to for 30 plus years, right? And I was like, dang, I can't believe it. So, you know, we fast forward to the next day on 18th, you know, about 12 o'clock, he finally says something, right, to improve his life without parole. It was bittersweet, a double-edged sword for me. Okay, hey man, you kind of took the easy way out. You didn't really go with the board recommendation, but however, he's not dead. Thank you, Lord, right? He's living. But it was like, man, those 18 days, bro.
Right.
I've never been through something like that in my life.
Yeah, that was we were having team shoot around. We were in Panhandle State, like, you know, way up in the middle of nowhere. And one of my teammates, he was hurt. He just cried. He was like, yes. And he's like, Kev, he's, you know, because I was always, you know, protesting, you know, and whatever, you know, putting stuff on Instagram. He's like, Kev, go look. Like, you know, we were almost done with shooting around. We were just you know, doing drills. And I just ran over to the phone, and then they was like, you know, Julius Jones. I was like, oh my God, and everybody was just so happy at the gym, just talking about it. And I was like, and I was like, wow, it's crazy how much support that he has, you know what I mean, and how much everybody's poured into getting him free eventually, you know what I mean. And it's crazy what we can do as people, you know what I mean. It's wild.
Yeah,
so, it's wild.
Absolutely.
So oh wow, that was a great story. I was like messing around. So what's motivated you to run for mayor?
Yeah, man. So, you know, a couple of things for me, man. One was watching some of the systematic stuff over 22 years with Julius Jones and understanding there's some areas in our system that needs to be changed and have some representation and a voice, right, to fight for change. That was one. Number two was, you know what? We can talk about it all day long, Kev, but if we're not willing to do and go and be involved and be productive, put ourselves on the line for something greater. I always use the terminology of the greater good, right? Are we willing to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good? Can I sacrifice myself to make Kevin have a better life as an adult, right? How can I create a city and environment, right, to allow Kevin to have opportunities and access to resources that Kevin may not have had otherwise? So all of this is running through my head, man. a few years ago, and my dad was highly encourageable about this. And here we go again, man. I promise you I'm not making none of this stuff up, bro. In 4 days, he died on 9/19/19, 4 days before he passed on 9/15/19. We're building a fence, and he begins to prophesy to me about what my future looked like and what Julie's future looked like, and how we were tied together about this paradigm shift for Oklahoma. And I'm taking notes in my mind as we're building this fence, man. And then about 7 p.m., bro, it flips for me. He talks a little bit about his own death and about how he's gonna sit down and bend over and go, man, like a puff of smoke. And I'm looking at him like, wait a minute, bro, what you talking about? Whoa, you talking about dying? He's like, listen to me, son. He was like, I'm gonna be gone like a puff of smoke. And that made all my hair stand up on my arms, man. And I'm feeling some type of way, bro. So 4 days later on 9/19/19, my mom calls me 12:30, man, screaming, your daddy's not moving. So I'm downtown, man, at work, and I'm busting it, going about 110 on the highway. Get to the house, man, the garage is up, man. He's sitting on a ride lawnmower, literally sitting on a ride lawnmower just like this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Gone, just like a puff of smoke. I'm saying, yo, pops, gone. And what that did for me, man, brought some reality about, wow, this man prophesied his own death. And on top of that, he gave me some instructions and some things to do to dive into. One of the words that he wanted me to research was mayor, man. And I knew what the mayor did, but he challenged me to drill a little bit deeper about what this position had access to. It wasn't the power of the position, it was the access of the position, right? The access to resources, the access to different things for Kevin's generation and my daughter's generation, who's 21 in college like you. So your all's generation, right? What can I provide for your generation to provide you a better life, man? So all of that played a part of me. God was hawking me down, bro. I kid you not. I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't get stuff done, man. I kept hearing these voices in my head saying, man, are you going to say yes? I just want you to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I did. I finally conceded to the fact, hey, man, whatever path you want me to go on, Lord, I'll concede to that. But however, I made a challenge back to God. If you want me to do this, you're going to have to put people in my path and access to resources to allow me to be successful right down this path. And he has, man. So I announced last June. It was awesome. The first African-American candidate in Oklahoma City history to run for mayor. And it's going to be a different vibe, a different pace of the game. I like to use basketball analogies. It's going to be a different pace to the game, man, because I'm a worker. I'm a grinder. I'm not a politician. I'm about people. I love helping people solve problems. So I think that dynamic is different for Oklahoma City. If elected, it's going to provide you and I a different pace to the game. We can control it, right? We ain't got to go up and down all the time. We can set up a play, set up a double screen for a shot, right? We can choose how we want to get buckets, if you will. I think that's something we haven't had as a city before. It's been all one pace, if you will, for government and leadership. So I think my style of leadership, my servanthood leadership, will provide a different pace for different communities for the city, man. So that's kind of how it came about. It's been going exceptionally well. The exposure for Julius Jones, for me and the Jones family in particular, these last maybe 4 or 5 weeks has been phenomenal. I've been on CNN with Don Lemon, MSNBC, the Readout Show. So it's put me some different avenues, man, that I never had access to. I thank God for that. But I think we're right at a time. I think we're at a time, Kevin, that is just the right time for a shift, right? I'm looking at these other cities across America, Kansas City, Florida, St. Petersburg, Akron, Ohio, some of these other traditional cities now have their first Black mayors too. So it's a shift, right? It's a shift in time in America, man. I think Oklahoma City, I think we're right at this amazing moment, my brother.
Right. So, and what are some key points that you really want to change if elected?
Yeah, so my number one, man, is I know how much of benefit I have received from having what I call a mentor, someone who has access to me in my career and allow me to maximize my gifts and talents. I want to build that same system for all kids in Oklahoma City. It's called Youth Empowerment Centers. It's a one-stop shop that has athletics, mentoring, tutoring, financial literacy, and life skills all under one umbrella, right? The city of Oklahoma City has already passed financing to build these particular centers. So all I got to do, man, is get in and then give them my design of what I really want, and then provide anybody access in Oklahoma City to sign up as an adult to be a mentor for a kid. And then your job, man, to be kind of shadow that young man or that young lady to their path to be successful. However, the thing I'm really excited about is I'm partnering with the Metro Techs and the Francis Tuttles in the other tech centers in Oklahoma to pipeline into these centers to give these kids skill sets for air conditioning, welding, other blue collar type industry experience to give them an option. If they don't want to go to college, they can be already certified and ready to go into the workforce when they graduate high school. That's one. The second one is criminal justice reform. There's a huge population of incarceration for Oklahoma County Jail. A lot of those particular cases and crimes are marijuana related. Now that we have the legalized medical marijuana side of things, I want to go back, change some ordinance and some laws and policies to bring relief to some of those folks that are sitting in county jail because of a small dime sack or whatever the case may be, right? Help allow them to get bailed out, help with their record, get it expunged, man, so they can get back into the marketplace and be productive. There's a whole chunk of people just like that, Kev, that's sitting there with these little itty bitty ounces of substance or whatever the case may be, man, that has hindered their life. So my job as a people person, man, is to create a way that we can allow them to get back into society and be productive. Because you and I as adults, man, we know that when we're productive and we're working and we're helping people, man, we feel like we're living, right? We feel like we're living, and a lot of these people aren't at the time. So my job is to try to create some ordinance, man, to allow that to happen. And the number 3 for me is our homelessness population. We have a growing homeless population in Oklahoma. My idea is to build a homeless transitional complex that gives them a one-stop shop for housing, substance abuse, and mental health resources. That's the missing piece, in my opinion. We haven't focused enough on the resource side for mental health to get these people healthy and ready to go so they can go back into society and be productive. However, the third part to the homeless transitional complex is bringing in companies either in Oklahoma or outside of Oklahoma, right, that's going to hire these people for jobs. So I'm going to be searching for companies, man, that are willing to be what I call second chance employers to give these people opportunity, man, to live again. I mean, how amazing that they have the opportunity to make money and live and buy stuff. It makes you feel like you're living and you're an adult. So a lot of these people, man, for whatever reason, made a mistake. That's cool. I am willing to build this complex, man, to help this side of the city and all sides of the city that have homelessness, man, to come in, get some help, get some resources, and then get back into society and be productive.
Gotcha. I love that. So I love that. That's awesome. We definitely need some help. We definitely need some help. So you ready for the bonus questions? The bonus question?
Yes, let's go.
All right. So the first bonus question. So advice for the younger generation.
Yep, 3 things I would say. Education is colorblind. If you don't like school, that's cool. Find you a trade or something that you can get a skill at. If you do like school, go all the way that you can, which means a bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctoral degree, get all the education you can, because what it did for my life is that it provided this magical key. Being educated made me accessible to opportunities that I would not have had otherwise. So I say to young people, number 1 is lock into your ability to learn. Nobody can stop you when you have the power of knowledge and access to information that they don't have. That's been my biggest advantage. I've been blessed enough to be highly educated, and it's allowed me to be in some venues that they didn't look at me as a Black man, but they looked at me as a man who had access to information, right? So number 2, you have to watch who you hang around with. You are only good as your associations, Kevin. If your homeboys and your teammates is goofing off and doing the wrong stuff, hey, cut them. Right, you gotta cut them. That goes for any youth in Oklahoma City, man. If your friends and your homeboys and homegirls ain't doing what they're supposed to do, there's nothing wrong with showing that leadership and getting rid of them. I had to cut some of my best friends because they weren't going where I was going. It was tough. It didn't feel good, but now on the backside, it was the right thing to do. And then number 3, and once you get into your career, if you can find somebody who's in your career, we call them a mentor. Mentorship is so important because these people can give Kevin, I'm using you as an example, Kevin, they can give Kevin some ideas and some pointers that you can't see because you've never been there before. However, these mentors can give you a pipeline and a path that can get to your final destination. So again, education, make sure you're hanging around the right people, and mentorship.
Gotcha. So my second question is all-time starting five.
NBA?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we got starting five. Woo, gotta have Shaq at the center.
Yeah.
Of course, Michael Jordan at the 2 guard. Gotta put Kobe on the other wing.
Okay.
My power forward, I gotta go with Tim Duncan, man. Gotta go with Tim Duncan at the power forward. And then my PG, the PG's where I'm having trouble at. So I got Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, and Chris Paul, man, at the 1. So I would say for revolutionary purpose, man, I'll go with Magic at the point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he changed the game.
Yeah, he did. Big point guard.
So that'd be my starting five.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice little five. So no LeBron. So no LeBron anywhere? No, you wouldn't consider LeBron.
I love LeBron, man. I love LeBron. LeBron was kind of on the tail end of my basketball, right? So as a late adult, that's when LeBron kind of kicked in. So unfortunately, man, I'm from the Kobe on down era.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why I got MJ and Tim Duncan and Kobe and Magic. So that's kind of my era. Yeah, that's my era. But hey, LeBron's a monster. Don't get me wrong, he's a monster.
LeBron's crazy. So my last question.
I know. I wish I could slide him in. If I would, I'll slide him in for Kobe, bro.
Yeah. Oh, but Kobe's so tough. I mean, like, you got to put Kobe. If you got Kobe's so tough.
I know.
Oh, Kobe's so tough. I honestly thought you'd have said KG since you played against him, but Tim Duncan is one of my favorite power forwards. So KG's a monster, but Tim Duncan's footwork was amazing. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, it was amazing. His technical aspect was amazing.
So basic, just so fundamental, like so fundamental. No athleticism.
Wasn't flashy. No, zero.
No athleticism. Just backboards, free throws, rebounds, 20 and 10. It's crazy. That's perfect for San Antonio. I don't think there was another place that I would have seen Tim Duncan play besides them. That's San Antonio as a whole, like what he did is him. You know what I mean? It's just
he fitted the system. Yeah, he fitted the
system perfectly.
I don't think he could have pulled that off like in LA or Houston or something.
Right. I don't think, not at all. So my last question is 3 dinner guests, dead or alive, who would they be? Be anybody.
First one, Barack Obama.
Mm.
That gentleman changed the perspective for me and my generation and my father's generation. We grew up saying, oh, we're never gonna see a black man look like us, right? As a president. So Barack broke that mold. So Barack Obama, number 1. Number 2, Martin Luther King Jr. Another trailblazer in the 60s, man, that stood up for some stuff that you and I are standing up for now, right? So would love to sit down and chop it up with him at the dinner table. So that's number 2. And then number 3, I got to add a female in there. That's a tough, because I'm thinking of all the females, across the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. Probably the lady who was the first millionaire, Madam C.J. Walker.
C.J. Walker.
Right, back in the 20s, who was doing that hair pockets, hot combs. Right, she changed the game for all black women for here on out. Yeah, so Madam C.J. Walker, man, would be an amazing third person at the dinner table.
What kind of hair you had back in the day? You had the curl, you had the waves. What you had back then?
I had the waves, man. Back in high school, we had the gumbies and the 2-steps in high school. Yeah, you remember the gumbies?
Yeah, I had that in middle school. That's when they came back. Yeah, I had that in middle school.
Yeah, after we got rid of that, man, I had the waves. Yep, I had the waves. And then when I got to college, my senior year and going to college, I had braids. I grew braids because AI started making those braids coming to fad, man. So I grew my little afro out, man. Grew me some braids. So when I was at Grambling, I had the little cornrow braids like AI did with the little things going in the middle of them. And so that was cool. Yeah, I had to braid it up about a year and a half, and then shoot, man, by my late 20s, man, I started going bald a little bit, bro.
Yeah, all off.
Yeah,
Knock it
and
all
then
off.
the early 30s was gone, straight bald.
Yeah, that's funny. So my last, I'm sorry, I lied. So this is my last question. So who that you have a connection to, who would you want to see on the show? I asked everybody, who is somebody that you could help me connect with on the show?
Oh, good question. And this is open to any type of industries or any type of
Anybody. I do anybody.
Anybody. That is a great question. Who will be a good source? Man, I'll have to think about that one. That's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. Because I like to be, I don't want to send you anybody. I love the fact of being revolutionary. So you're gonna have me give a little time to think about that, because I'm not gonna sing just nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, E-Town. It's crazy, E-Town, because I just, like, right before we started, I texted him on Facebook Messenger, and I was like, hey, like, yada, yada, yada. I was like, not he said E-Town. I was like, well, because I grew up watching him on, like, on 2K and, like, watching him on TV, like, with the Wizards and everything. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I was gonna say E-Town will be a good one. E-Town Thomas or Ron Humphries. Ron Humphrey will be a good one, since they both play in the NBA. I'm thinking here locally. Another guy here that's a huge basketball dude named Stell Laster. He's probably the greatest player I played against out of Oklahoma. Stell was amazing, man. Came out in '96 and went to OSU. Shouldn't have went to OSU. Bad move. They had too many guards. But his ability and his gifts, man, were amazing. Could do it all. 45-inch vertical, could shoot it from deep, could go by you. He had the total package. On our team that went undefeated in '96, we were 28-0, in which we beat E-Town Thomas, Ron Humphrey in the championship by 1 in overtime. Stell dropped 55 on us, bro, during that season. 55. The dude was a scoring machine. We had some lockdown defenders too, man, on our squad. And he was treating them like toys in the Walmart department.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, do you know? Do you know Mike Williamson?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, so yeah, I did his interview, like I said. Yeah, was y'all high school teammates?
Yeah, so me and Mike, we were. So me and Mike runs a AAU organization called Bernie.
He
does the boy side. I did the girl side. Yeah, that's my guy, man. We've been friends all our lives.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay. I love Mike. Mike's a real good dude. He could hoop.